Credit to Virginia Tech for a hard-fought game. Thought those guys played really well when they needed to. For us, we got a group of guys that are hurting right now, right? A group of guys that are disappointed. Nobody's hurting more than we are. Nobody's putting in the time and the effort that we are. And when you don't get the results, you got to keep going back out there and being vulnerable and putting yourself right back out there with no promise that it's going to go your way. I deserve every bit of criticism that is coming this way, right? And I'll sit here and I'll own it and I'll take it. But nobody's hurting more than our guys. Nobody's hurting more than them. Nobody wants this more than them. They're fighting. They're getting back and doing stuff. I still believe in those guys.
Questions?
Do they almost want it too much, where it becomes a mental hurdle that you just can't get over 5, 4, 3 minutes to play in a game like this?
No, I gotta be better for them, right? I'll take the blame on this. I'm the one calling the plays down the stretch. I got to put us in a better position for us to take advantage of how we can score, how we can rebound, and we'll go back and learn from it. And that's it. You got to get back on the horse and you got to play again. And unfortunately, this feeling, it keeps happening. But you got to get back on there. You got to own it. You got to get back out there and you got to play again. You got to go to what's next, and that's what we plan on doing.
What aren't you doing to help these guys more?
Maybe it's different play calls. Maybe it's different people, right? I got to find out what it is, how we're better at the stretch, of how we can score better down the stretch, how we get stops better down the stretch, right? So, it's my group. We're undisciplined. We have 17 turnovers, right? And maybe we do need something different in practice so we're not turning the ball over. Whatever it is, we're going to find it. But I put the groups out there that aren't scoring at the end of the game, right? So this falls on me.
When it's 18-4, when it's 46-35, what do you feel like keeps happening that they kind of let their foot off the gas?
It was different circumstances. At 18-4, we have they get a bucket, and then we get a technical foul, so then they go on an 8-0 run, right? They get free throws, then they score right after that, and it just kind of crushes our momentum at that play, right? And the other time, Marcus is probably out, right? I can't do anything about him getting elbowed in the head, and now his face swells up in the middle of the game. But in that moment, we still need to go, we need, somebody to get a bucket, right? I need to call the right set for us to get a bucket. I need to call the right set for us to get to the free throw line. And that's where I said, I got to be better.
Micah, when you have 3 in a row, pretty similar in terms of the final score and the way it just doesn't happen down the stretch, what do you see in this team that lets you know they can turn it around here the rest of the way?
We're the team that takes the lead, right? If we were down the whole game, then I wouldn't believe that we could do it. But we're the team that's up, right? So we're both teams. We're that team that's getting a double-figure lead, but we're also that team that's letting people back in it. So it is us. It's in there. Now it's about being able to do it for 40 minutes. And that's why it gives me confidence, right? I'll be better for them. I got to help them. I got to help them more.
Micah, in playing with a deep bench, how is that benefiting you? And do you think is that maybe not helping you when it comes to the offensive lulls?
We're just trying to stay fresh. You get to the end of the games, you're trying to play with pace, and sometimes we look like we're tired out there, right? So I'm trying to get more guys in, trying to be able to play at the right pace. And the hardest thing to do is play short minutes and be really good in those short minutes. But you can be really good at effort. Effort doesn't take anything, right? Effort doesn't take. I can play 3 minutes and empty my tank and beg for somebody, beg for me to come off the floor, right? So I'm not asking people to come in the game and give me 40. I just want you to come in and sustain effort.
You go on a nice 8-3 run at the end of the first half, over the last few minutes. What was different there to help you get the lead going into halftime that you weren't able to replicate later on?
Yeah, just like we need to be better. Like we turned the ball over too much in the first half and the second half for the whole game. But I didn't think we replicated our rebounding. We've been a really good defensive rebounding team, and I don't think we replicated that. I think they got 12 in the second half, and some key ones, some clutch ones. So we changed some stuff in our pick and roll defense to try and help us, and I think it did early. But then, they switched to some small lineups, and we were trying to play some different lineups to match with them, and then they were getting guys loose at the rim, right, and getting some layups, more layups, dunks. They were scoring the ball at the rim. That's where, like you said, if I've got a better group in there, then maybe we guard it a little better.
The free throw line was great for you guys. Were you trying to get back to the line late, or were you okay with settling for some jumpers?
We're trying to get to the line the entire game. I don't know. We're in the bonus early, right? We're getting to the paint sometimes. We gotta finish those. We gotta get buckets, or we gotta get to the free throw line on some possessions where we didn't get anything.
With a lot of the turnovers are just kind of not holding on to the ball or pass goes off someone's hands. Is that a focus thing? Is that a fundamentals thing? Or what do you feel like needs to change there?
Yeah, it's a focus thing for our group, right? When we're doing stuff, it's I'm supposed to get a catch. I gotta get a catch. Nah, man, that's a focus thing, but that's a toughness thing. Nobody should stop me from getting the ball where I want to get it, right? And you can't have those turnovers late in the game where we can't move it from side to side because we're throwing the ball out of bounds or we're turning it over, right? But once again, there's more stuff, right? More stuff that's the coach's fault, right? So I need to help us. We need to work on more step-offs. We need to work on catching the ball with two hands. We need to work on playing through pressure, and getting it, where we want to.
Kebba, you guys are up 7 with 8 minutes to play. What doesn't happen offensively in these close games?
I don't even think it's an offensive thing. I think it's more defense. We just down the stretch, I feel like we got to be more locked in on defense, because I feel like that's what we take pride in as a team, is just getting stops. And so, our offense is going to come when we get stops. So,
Julian, how come this team's not tougher in close games that you need to be?
I don't really know how to answer that. I think we got tough guys. We just not getting it done right now, but we gotta figure it out.
Kebba, after the week you guys had, what needs to change to finish the season the right way?
I feel like we've been having some great practices leading up into every game, I think, but just on game days, just taking it a step further, I feel like we got all the right pieces and everything. Just be a little bit more mature down the stretches, finishing close games like that.
You guys are normally really effective offensively coming out of timeouts. I think today you had 4 empty possessions out of timeouts, an air ball, a shot clock violation, a couple of turnovers. With your margin of error, how important is it that you guys capitalize on those settings?
Yeah, we just gotta capitalize on a lot of those. That's a big focus of ours. So just gotta be better.
Kebba, you mentioned needing to be more mature. What ways do you feel like you guys need to be more mature down the stretch?
Just figuring out what it takes to win. I feel like the good teams, they get stops down the stretch, and then that fuels their offense. And so for us, I feel like that's what we just need to do.